Before we get started, let's give it up to the real hero of the story here. Yes, that's right, I'm talking about the rat. You know what I'm talking about? Hello my beautiful geeks, how is everybody doing today? Lewis coming to you once more with another video, and this time we're doing a first time video because I've never done a spoiler talk video, but for this movie I had to, because I feel like a 1 minute review, spoiler free, it's not enough to express how I feel and how I'm going to recuperate from watching this movie. So let's get to it. First of all, I did not see the fact that Thanos was gonna get decapitated within 10 minutes of the freaking movie. I gotta say, after I saw that, I was like, where are we gonna go from now? I mean, I gotta say, it felt amazing when Thor was like, I went for the head. I know I was like, oh shit! Everybody in the theater was like that too, because they were just like, okay, touche, my friend, you did it, good job. And just like that, we jumped 5 years into the future, like with the world fucked up. We just jumped 5 years into the future, and I'm like, okay, this is where it's gonna pick up. This probably takes us to the slowest part of the movie, which is Act 1, when we're talking about the Avengers, or what's left of them, trying to, you know, come together and make a plan, and trying to see, just, no plan yet, but they're trying to learn to live with what has happened. Our man Steve Rogers is actually going to meetings where you talk to people about the people that you have lost and how you're moving on, etc, etc, etc. I found it really human, really compelling for a character such as Captain America, even though he is human, but he's got this super soldier serum, you know, he's weak, he's destroyed, he's broken. And then, like I said before, the true hero of this story sets things in motion. The little rat, guys. The rat walks over the console control of the quantum realm machine, and Scott Lang comes out and he's like, what's up? Where am I? Even though 5 years have gone on Earth, only 5 hours have gone in the quantum realm. And he gets out and he goes to his house. He sees his little girl, who's not a little girl anymore. She's now a grown-up, and was I the only one wondering, like, where's his wife? Was his wife dusted? I don't know, but I love the scene when he goes to the memorial and he's looking for the names of, I guess, his daughter and his wife, although he didn't really care about his, well, ex-wife, sorry. Ex-wife and her husband, and that was pretty powerful, because he has been away, and he just gets out and he sees that everybody's gone, and he asks this kid at one point, he's like, kid, what happened? And the kid gives him the dirtiest look ever, like, what do you mean, old man? Everybody died. So he goes to the Avengers headquarters and he's like, Home Slices, I think I have a plan that may work. Oh, I forgot to mention the big deus ex machina of Captain Marvel rescuing Tony and Nebula from the outer space limits. I forgot that, sorry. It's just that for some reason that part just seemed like a very, like it was too easy kind of thing, but I get it. Nick Fury had sent the signal. On her way back, she saw them and she was like, oh shit, hey, I'll help you. Going back to Scott Lang, going to Avengers, I almost call it Tower, it was in the Tower headquarters, and Cap is there, Natasha is there, and he's like, you know what guys, I have an idea which may work of how we can fix everything. And they're like, sure, let's hear it. And yes, we're talking about time travel. We're gonna get into the time travel in a few, because that is one of the things about this movie that I did not, I'm not gonna say like, because I liked it, but the way that they explained time traveling in this was a bit more open-minded than what we've seen it in everything else. And even though they compare it to like Back to the Future, Bill and Ted, Terminator, and a whole bunch of other franchises that they actually mentioned in the movie, which was really cool, none of it was like that. Like the way they explain time traveling in here, it's kind of like timeline. You mess something up, you create another timeline, but this timeline's still going. And I'm still trying to fathom the whole thing, but some things would not have gone the same way if you would have changed certain events, but I'll get more into that a little later. So they go talk to a retired Tony Stark now, who he's now living like in the woods next to a lake with Pepper. He's got a kid, a daughter, Morgan, and you know, he's a dad. He's a full-time daddy. He's no longer Iron Man. and Captain America and Natasha, they go over and they're like, listen man, we have a way of possibly bringing everybody back. You're the science dude, we want to hear your thoughts on it. What do you think? So right away Tony shuts them down. He's like, listen guys, I'm out of the game. I don't think it's a good idea. You shouldn't really mess with time. Things can happen. He gives some science mumble jumble, some effects, theories, stuff of that nature, and he basically shuts them down right away. So plan B, they go to see our man Professor Hulk. That's right, seeing Professor Hulk was so cool. It's like the perfect of both worlds. Hulk, Bruce Banner, Professor Hulk. So he was not too much of a Hulk smash anymore character, but instead he's now a intellectual, a professor, a gentleman, and a scholar, if you will. So he's thinking of the idea about time traveling and stuff, and he's like, we can try something. Let's check it out. Let's see what we can do. When they go, they test it out with Scott, Ant-Man, and it's a failure every time. When he comes back, he's either a baby or an old man or like a teenager, and it was one of the things that Tony was warning them about, that time itself won't travel around you, but rather through you, kind of thing. So you would feel the effects of time rather than you going around time. If you have a headache already, it's okay, because so do I. So once you get past all the time mumbo jumbo, on the side you see that Tony Stark was thinking about the idea of time traveling. I don't know exactly if he was already doing it, like he had a side project, but this brought him back to it, and then he did like a prototype of a machine with the help of Friday, and he did it. He said, Eureka, I got it, we can do it, let's try it. So he goes back to Avengers headquarters, and then they build this really awesome machine that makes them go back through time to the quantum realm. And this is when we enter Act 2 of the movie, and this is when stuff starts to pick up. What an amazing thing it was to see all the events that we have seen in the past again. And they got so many of the actors from previous movies to come back. Whether it was just a cameo or if it was stock footage, I don't care. You still got to see them again. And the way it was edited, the colors, everything, it looks so beautiful. The Battle of New York was my favorite one though. Tony kind of messes up a bit because the Hulk takes the stairs and he doesn't like to take the stairs, and he kicks him. And then Loki grabs the Tesseract and he goes away, which could set up for the Loki TV show and also give you a different kind of approach as to what's going to happen. Maybe the Loki TV show is not going to take place in the same timeline, just because of the same thing that I was telling you about before, regular timeline. Loki steals the Tesseract game timeline, so they might be right there. So Loki may not be that anymore because everything has changed, Taylor Swift style. So they divide into these teams, like to get different and go back in time and get different Infinity Stones, because as I should have mentioned before, but you guys should already know this because this is a spoiler talk. Thanos used the stones to destroy the stones, so there's no more stones. Stone. That was right before he got decapitated. That's when he was like, oh yeah, destroy those sons bitches, you guys fucked. So by going back in time to specific periods where they can get the stones, they can come back and kind of create their own gauntlet and undo the snap. So everybody succeeds, you know, no biggie, except for the fact that, of course, they send Hawkeye and Black Widow, because, you know, why would you send anybody else but those two characters, to retrieve the Soul Stone. As if you guys may know, in order to get the Soul Stone, you need to give up a soul. In other words, somebody's gotta die. Of course, because of writing, they send Hawkeye and Natasha, and as soon as I saw them go, and as soon as they landed on the planet, and Red Skull was like, hey, what's up, Home Slice? One of you's gotta give up something. I was like, one of them is gonna die. I gotta be honest, I thought it was going to be Clint just because of the fact that he had like nothing to lose anymore. His family was dead and everything. But Natasha had the right idea, you know, if everything works, you're gonna get your family back. You should be alive, you should live for them, you should go back. So she's the one who ends up sacrificing herself after a big fight between the two of them. Like literally they fight to see who's gonna jump to their death. But ultimately Natasha gets it over, and she's the one who dies, and that is our first death of Endgame. Yeah. So it was one of those moments that everybody just got quiet in the movie theater because, you know, now Natasha's dead, and yeah. Again, due to writing, when Rhodey and Nebula are back trying to get the stone that Star-Lord was getting in Guardians of the Galaxy, the Nebula from that timeline is having like a glitch in her system, just because I guess they share the same Wi-Fi password or something. Our Nebula, or Nebula from our time, and the Nebula from the past kind of start like sharing memories. And guess what? Thanos from that timeline now is like, I see you, fam. I see you. So now he knows that they're there. He knows that he succeeds, and he knows they're trying to stop him. So, as an awesome bad guy that he is, he's like, yeah, that's not gonna happen. So, good Nebula gets kidnapped, and bad Nebula goes back to the Quantum Tunnel and goes back with the Avengers. That's no bueno. As they get back, of course, they get all of the stones, and Tony, because he's got the best technology in the world, makes a gauntlet that is able to sustain all of the stones and undo the snap. Which it's one of the things of the movie that kind of bother me. Think about it. Thanos had to basically go and kill a whole bunch of blacksmith giants and like blackmail people so that they can forge him a gauntlet made from a star and amazing metal and from the same guy who made Mjolnir and Stormbreaker, because you needed something that powerful to sustain the power of the stones. But no, nanotechnology, man, that's all you needed. So they make an infinity gauntlet or some sort of gauntlet, glove, whatever you want to call it. Tony creates it with his technology, with the nanotechnology, and why didn't Thanos just do that in the first place? But that was one of the things that I was like, about whatever, I'm gonna let it go because the movie was epic. So they start talking about who's gonna make the snap, and then the Hulk is like, I'm the only one who can take it because it's Gamma, and then Gamma, and I'm Gamma, and then Gamma plus Gamma equals I'm gonna be okay, you dig? So the Hulk puts on the gauntlet. It's pretty cool seeing how the gauntlet like goes around him, because it was tiny, and I was like, how the fuck is that gonna fit in the Hulk? But you know, it's nanotechnology, so it fit around him. And when he puts it on, guys, it's like he's having the worst pain of his life realized. Like he's like, he cannot even like, So Tony is like, bro, don't undo anything in the past 5 years because I love my daughter. Just undo the snap, make everybody come back. So with the last bit of strength that the Hulk has, he snaps his fingers. Well, at this point, yeah, we don't know that everybody has come back, but it is assumed because he undid the snap. And then Scott Lang goes outside, looks out the window, and things look different. He sees more birds, he sees more life. So he's like, it works. In the meantime, though, don't forget that fake Nebula has already made it there. And she had Thanos' ship, brought it up, came out, and then Thanos blows out of the Avengers facility. Boom. This leads to the final act of the movie, guys, which is probably some of the best I've ever seen in any movie, in any superhero movie, in any movie, period. Like give this movie every award you have, make something happen. Like, we're talking about like special effects, sound, colors, vibration, cinematography, lines, acting, just everything. It was just fantastic. So Thanos comes down and he just sits down like a G, you know. He's like, yeah, I'm gonna wait here so you can bring me my stones. You know, he's just sitting there like the badass motherfucker he is. So after the explosion, the Avengers start coming out one at a time. Cap is all messed up. Tony is like all messed up as well, you know. In the meantime, you have Clint and you have Rocket and War Machine. They're trying to get out because they've been buried. Don't worry, we'll see them again. So you have a face-up between Thor, Captain America, and Tony against Thanos, face to face. Also, I should have mentioned that this is now Big Boy Thor, Tubby Thor. Kind of looks more like me Thor. It's a realistic Thor. That's what a man should look like. So they go face to face with Thanos, and then they have this fan-freaking-tastic battle. Just the three of them versus him, and it was epic. And this leads to one of the best moments in the movie. Something that people have been speculating about ever since Age of Ultron. There's a point that Thanos is about to kill Thor. He's about to stab him with his own Stormbreaker. And then you see Mjolnir fly and hits him right in the face. Side note, Mjolnir is back because when Thor and Rocket went back to Asgard of the past, he retrieved it. Just a side note, in case you're watching this even though you haven't seen the movie and you want to know how. That's how it happened. And it turns out that it is Captain America who was holding Mjolnir in his hand. He's worth it, he is epic, he is sexy, he's Chris Evans, he's Cap. And then Thor is like, ha, I knew it! So this kind of makes you go back to that scene in Age of Ultron when he kind of lifts it and then he's like, and he moves like, a little bit, and Thor's like. So that just confirms the fact that Captain America is hashtag worth it. So some more fighting occurs and boom, bada bing, bada bam, bada punch you in the face. And even with all of this, Thanos is still winning, you know? And then there's a point that Thanos is just like, you know what? I know the mistake that I made before. I erased half of the humanity, but this time I'm just gonna kill everybody. I'm gonna kill everybody and I'm gonna start fresh. That's the new plan, because I realize that that's how it is. That's what I gotta do. So Thanos now, it's not so much a benefactor of good trying to fix society, but now he just went full bad guy. I feel like future Thanos at least had something good in mind. He seemed a little more nice, if that makes sense. This Thanos from the past, he is just an asshole. He just wants to destroy everything. He seems more evil. It's almost like his intentions were different now just because he knew that he won. Because he saw the memories of our Gamora. Not Gamora, sorry. Have I been calling her Gamora this whole time? Nebula. She sees the memory of Nebula. There is a Gamora from the past that ends up joining them though. But not our Gamora, because I'm pretty sure she did. Once you give the soul for the Soul Stone, there's no way to take it back. But since Black Widow was now there, hopefully we'll find out in the next Guardians of the Galaxy movie how they're gonna get her back. In any case, this Thanos, like I said, he's a huge dick. And he just wants to get rid of everything. And right as when you think that everything is lost, it looks like Thanos is gonna win. He's almost gonna win. They're trying to run away with the gauntlet because they don't want him to get it. You hear a voice in Cap's ear receiver. He's like, on your left. And this, guys, is the most orgasmic moment in all of comic book history, in all of movie comic book history, because everybody who had died, everybody who's ever been, everybody who's ever showed up as a hero, shows up through portals, coming through by Doctor Strange, and everybody comes back. Spider-Man, all of Wakanda that pretty much died, led by Black Panther, of course, and Shuri. And this is when things get sexy. You have the army of Thanos versus the army of the Avengers. And as everybody's coming together, Captain America says it, guys. He says it. Avengers, assemble. And then me in the movie theater was like, oh my god, he said it! Like, I actually got goosebumps. Like tears came to my eyes a little, and I was like, I'm okay. But I wasn't okay. I was having a fangasm, guys. A geekgasm, and it was so good. So the armies start fighting. Everybody gets a turn at beating the shit out of Thanos, except for the Hulk, which kind of pissed me off because he kind of needed a redemption from when he got the shit beat out of. But whatever, I'll take it. Scarlet Witch got, like, I think the best one, because she's like beating the shit out of Thanos, and she has him at one point that you think she's gonna kill him. But then Thanos, like the dick he is, he tells his posse, he's like, hey man, you know what, just have the ship rain on this motherfucker. Just make it rain. And then even the guy, his lackey, he's like, but sir, you're gonna kill a lot of our people. And Thanos is like, I don't give a fuck, do it. He doesn't say that, but, you know, semantics. So Scarlet Witch pretty much had him, but, you know, he had an ace under his sleeve, and then he made it rain. And for the second time in the movie, we have Captain Marvel coming to save the day. And she kind of like flies through the ship and blows up the ship. And on the side, Thanos got the gauntlet, and he was about to snap, and she stopped him. But she got bitch slapped in the face by one of the stones because Thanos had her like this. She was very strong. She could handle him, you know? But he took one of the stones, and he like punched her on the side. And I was like, shit, I did not see that coming. As much as I like the character of Captain Marvel, I am glad that not everything fell on her. But at the same time, she did exactly what she should have done by avoiding the snap again, if that makes sense. Because she is in the movie literally twice. At the very beginning and at the very end. That's it. So her whole role in the movie was to be a deus ex machina. Save Tony at the beginning, and then at the end, prevent the snap. There is one moment that I was like, hashtag girl power. All of the female superheroes kind of just get together. You know what, like, we're gonna kick some ass. And I was like, oh my god, this is so good. I love it. I turned around to my wife and she's like, yeah, boy. And I was like, yeah, fam. It was a pretty cool moment. I enjoyed it. It was pretty cool to see the girl power. I was like, oh my god, they can kick my ass. It was pretty awesome. I really enjoyed that. I enjoyed that moment more than Captain Marvel showing up, to be honest with you. I don't know why, but I just did. So Captain Marvel did her thing, and then Thanos has got the gauntlet. And Tony, man, you gotta give it to Tony Stark. He's fighting. He's only a human in a metal suit, but he's fucking fighting. He goes there and he tries to take it from Thanos, and there's a point when you think everything is lost because Thanos has the gauntlet, and my man goes snap. Right before this, of course, Peter Parker and Tony had gotten like a nice little reunion because, you know, he had died and Tony was like, oh my god, you're not dead, I love you. You're the child that I never had. Wait. So going back to the snap, he snaps, but he's like, the fuck, this shit not working. And he looks and all of the Infinity Stones are actually not on the gauntlet. And then it was pretty cool because when he snapped his fingers, he was like, I am inevitable. And then you turn around and Tony goes, you can't see me, my time is now. And he's got all of the stones. He made another, again, thanks to his technology, because that's all you need in this movie. It's Stark technology, guys. And he makes a new gauntlet with the stones, and he says, bitch, I am Iron Man. Snappy snap, and all the bad guys die, including Thanos. Bye! Everybody gets dusted who's bad, and all the good guys win. Except for the fact that no human is able to really use the stones like that and live to tell the tale. And this brings to this... I'm getting choked up just thinking about it. Tony sacrifices himself by doing this snap. He is out of it. I think that the moment he snapped it, he pretty much was already agonizing, because by the time that everybody gets to him, he can't even talk, you know? He's like... He's dying. Half his face is burned. His hair is burned. His suit is burned. He cannot withstand the power of the snap. So there's one last moment with Peter, because, you know, Peter has to go before his wife. And then Pepper has a moment, and this is just when I lost it. She was like, we'll be okay. You can rest now. I need a moment. Right in the feels. Right in the fields. Iron Man is no more. So it's a really good full circle thing, because he started the last line in the first movie that started it all, which was Iron Man was I am Iron Man, and he finishes it with I am Iron Man. Pretty poetic, pretty beautiful. I loved it. Amazing. We go to Tony Stark's funeral, where pretty much every single Avenger is there. The Guardians of the Galaxy, the kid from Iron Man 3 is there as well. And everybody's just sitting there, and they're saying goodbye to him, and it's a very touchy, very strong moment to see Tony Stark go. Iron Man, not the first Avenger, because that was Captain America, but the guy who started it all, you know, the first movie, the first everything, 10 plus years ago. He was the first guy, the first movie. And now we say goodbye to him. It was very strong. It was very powerful. I'm still crying inside, even though I'm not showing it, but it was powerful. So after all that sadness, Captain America goes back in time. Well, they choose him to go back in time to put the stones back in particular points, and then to come back, you know. And something interesting about this is that he takes Mjolnir with him. You know, he goes back in time and he takes the hammer, and you're like, that's interesting. But it turns out that Cap actually decided to stay. He stayed in the past to live his life with Peggy Carter, and it was sad, because after that they turn around and he's sitting on a log or on a bench by the lake, and then Sam goes over and he hands over the shield, and it's like a passing of the mantle moment. Even though I think he should have given it to Bucky, but I guess they were trying to go with a comic book route. But I respect it, I see it. But Cap went back and he chose to never come back because he wanted to live a happy life with the love of his life that he never got to spend time with. It's a very strong moment, very powerful moment. The last scene that we see is Captain America, Steve Rogers, getting that dance with Peggy that he wanted from all those years back. Again, it went full circle. He had a happy ending. If you think about it, Tony had the family and then the sacrifice at the end, but Captain America was the other way around. His whole life was about sacrifice, and then at the end he got the family that he always wanted. So it's a pretty beautiful moment, pretty indescribable moment. As a fan, you're sitting there and you're like, wow, this is beautiful. And that's when the movie ends, and it's just amazing. It's honestly, this movie cannot have gone any better. If you look aside from all the time traveling mumbo jumbo that doesn't make sense, and a couple of the things with the Stark technology that I was nitpicking on, this was a fantastic movie. This was, I got no other words. It's a 10 out of 10. I gave it a 10 out of 10, spoiler alert, in my no spoiler review. So in this one, I'm also going to give it a 10 out of 10. If I could give it more, I would. It was so good that I made this video, spoiler talk, and I usually don't make these videos, but this might be the first of many because I like it. It's fun to stand here and kind of just talk. I like to talk, in case you haven't noticed. And that was it, guys. The Avengers saga is over. Now we have stuff to look forward to. I cannot wait for the X-Men. I cannot wait for the new stuff. I cannot wait for Black Panther 2, Doctor Strange 2, the new Spider-Man movie. We have a few things to look forward to, but the original Avengers are no more. I know, it hurts. I know. But what do you guys think Avengers Endgame? Let me know in the comment section below. Did you like it? Did you not like it? If you did not like it, get out. Whatever it is, let me know in the comment section below, guys. As per usual, you guys have been awesome. Do me a favor, guys. Stay awesome and geek on. Lewis, going back to crying now.